Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is Saturday, August 24th, 2019. And this is take two. And I'm going to tell on myself because I'm not recording. Only BZ is recording because I'm on my tablet. And so I'm still with the computer issues. BZ said, ready, go. And I just sat here like because you know that, hey, that speaks to programming. I have to bring that up. That speaks to my own programming, that because I'm so used to my hitting the button. That's so wild to me. Okay, so anyway, but we're not going to talk about my programming. We're going to talk about this. No, we don't got enough time for that. There's not enough time. I don't think people could really take it. So, but BZ had a quantum shower experience that she wanted to share. And I'm excited to hear about that, actually. So.
And I need to call attention to your tree of life, which is glowing.
Yeah.
It's actually giving off light. Just like you had mentioned, this vase is iridescent. There's an iridescent, from the way I read it, there's an iridescent light coming from that.
Well, I wonder if that, because of this whole thing with this computer, it's just so wild as to what's going. My desktop actually did die. I mean, it's totally kaput. It's out of the picture. They went ahead and, took care of it, recycling it properly for me.
They buried it proper.
Well, I did get the hard drive, which, hey, it's a 1 terabyte, and it's there, I had a lot of room on it yet, so, because it wasn't that old. But the laptop, I don't know what to make of this, because they get it to work just fine. And I brought it home and it was working, and I, now it's not again. So this is so funny to me. I just do not know what to make of it.
Are you trying to get it to work just in your room or outside in another room?
Actually, I didn't take it outside of the room this time. Maybe I should try to do that. But it's just so weird. It won't turn on and then, I'll go away and check myself. I'm checking my frequency. Am I approaching it? Like, I was just excited. I was like so excited this morning and looking forward to spending some time with it, because they put all the information that was on my hard drive on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you were effectively up and running.
I was, and I was really looking forward to taking all of my information off of they had taken it off the hard drive and put it on a portable, and I was looking forward to taking, because I back things up to there, but there are things that I use consistently. Mm-hmm. I wanted access to, and it wouldn't turn on. It just wouldn't even power up at all. And I was like, wait a minute, that's the same thing that the other one did. So I went away and checked myself, because I was like, but I really had my frequency, my frame of mind was excited and playful when I approached it, and nope.
You could have zinged it.
I guess, and now it's doing that random stuff again, like the speakers are not recognized, and it's a whole weird thing, because it did finally boot up right before this. So that was interesting too. So I don't know what this is about, but when you mentioned that, it could be an effect of the lighting, but it's something to do with, I have considered what it is that I'm bringing around, but it's not affecting my phone. Well, it does affect my phone to some degree, I think, because a lot of times
unless you have a spotlight, small spotlight that's right in front of you, that's aimed right at the clavicle level of it's not. Because it's not showing up any other place
Yeah,
except for the tree of life is glowing.
Wow.
it truly is.
No, I've got a small bedside table lamp right there, and then I've got that bedside table lamp, and that's really it. So that's oh well. So cool. Wait a minute. Don't Care Bears have something in their chest that glow?
Mm.
Don't they? Am I a Care Bear now?
Maybe so.
Hey, okay, I'll be all right with that. Hey, maybe all humans should have a mood ring right in the middle of their chest so everybody can see how are you going today? Talk about all transparent. All becomes transparent now, huh? Okay, sorry, that silliness. Now on to the quantum shower, because I really am excited to hear about this. Especially based on your last one. And you said you have these a lot.
Well, I take showers routinely, but I have I have quantum showers. Actually,
well, that's good news. I'm sorry. That's the comedian in my head. I'm sorry that there is one there.
I have them fairly regularly. I don't obviously don't always share them. It's funny, this time after I had when I was, kind of as I was getting back on with I didn't have to work in the morning, so it was a late morning shower because I was actually out in the mists and everything with the camera. And so I got to thinking too with the shower that something about the timing and the mist. I don't know, but it was not a normal time that I would, I might take a shower at the end of the day or whatever, but this was like 10-ish, almost 10 something, which is an odd kind of a time. It's not like I woke up at 9:40 and so I took a shower. I mean, I've been up since 5, so. So maybe it's kind of a late afternoon shower for the way that morning went. I don't know. But so I thought I remember thinking that the timing was interesting because I was planning on, I came back to the house and I thought, well, okay, well, I'll take a shower now and get everything set. I was going to do one thing in the house and then I'd go on to some other things. And then the very next thought that followed, no, go do that now. Whatever it was, and I don't remember specifically what it was. And I thought, well, okay, so off I went and was doing again. I was in play mode, so I was fiddling around and exploring and stuff. And then it just was it doesn't. I don't know if it makes any sense, but it wasn't like the last one where get in the shower now, when it was after work and I was gonna just chill, but. This was more the feeling was, shower time, not a rush, but in case you'd forgotten or whatever, it just was going. So, and the other thing that was interesting about this is that when I started so just to finish your question, so I have them fairly regularly now, which is very cool. I don't always share them just because of some of the places that I go. I like just living in the moment of it and not something about linearizing it that takes some of it away. But when I was done with this shower and I was still really grooving on the different things that were going on, it was very colorful, very light, fantastical, and very clearly, and you will share this one. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know whether
I prefer that type of communication from my higher self Are you listening?
Oh,
I don't know what if it was because I was playing and enjoying, and it wasn't a question of reliving or remembering because I was still full on in it, although I was, had clothes and was off, shoes on and doing something, on doing something else. But so fully ensconced in all of it. And I think it was kind of, just a nudge, lest you think that you're just going to go in with this one, you will be sharing it. So I said, okay. And then the title of what to call it came very clear. It's not the energies, it's you. And in parentheses, with the most wonderful smile is all I can say. The energy, the words, the transmission, everything came through just with this beautiful smile. It was palpable, and I don't think I've at least marked or remembered had something ever come through quite that way before. So that was really good. So that in itself was kind of cool. In parentheses, and that's a fabulous thing. So it's not the energies, it's you. And that's a fabulous thing. And that had a big smile all around it. The words were infused with the smile. So with this one, sometimes I'm thinking about different things. Sometimes I'm working out different things. Like the very first one I shared, I started it, and it was, it's like, so what's up with that? And zoom, I was, and this one I was just, was thinking about anything per se, except that maybe I might have been playing with the colors, the mood, the lights, the light in the, because like I said, I was out at 5:30 in the morning, and it was very misty, and so the greens were greener, and there were blues, and so there it was a magical light, almost like Mists of Avalon type of a light, and and isn't that interesting? So everything is there's only now, right? So as I am relaying this, and I'm stepping in, I was holding one as there was the morning and the playing and out when I was doing, and then there was the shower, and then there was the experience. And this kind of goes through the whole thread from the shower, that, that there's that, and then there's this. So that this morning, and then this, the shower. And as I am back in the energetic envelope of the morning, before actually being in the quantum shower, I could question, did the shower form the morning? Or was the morning informing the shower? Or did the morning and the play with, and the receptivity to, and the allowing of all that I was flowing in the morning just naturally flow and open up the quantum. Just see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a setup for the scene.
Yeah, and this I think goes with I'm just going to make a note here because we'll see if
I'd like to interject something here because I was shown something this morning. I was having this, you know how you get an earworm of a song, right?
Yeah.
And I knew the song. I mean, it's one of those songs where you think you know the words to the song. And you only know some of them, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was the REM song.
Okay.
This one goes out to the one I love. It's called The One I Love, right?
Okay.
Well, I had to go find the lyrics to it because it kept coming up in my head as I am. There's one part of the word where it sounds like he's singing, I am, right? Over and over again, right? No, he's singing the word fire, but I had to also, while I was looking for the lyrics, this particular site that came up automatically started playing the official video for that song. And you are describing to me that video and why I had to go see that. It is such a multi-layered, multi-dimensional video and shows, to my mind, all things happening at once, similarly to what you're describing here. For me, anyway, I see it clearly. And now I'm wondering if I was shown that this morning, to help me grok what you're speaking on here, because I would encourage everyone to look at that. It's a YouTube video.
I just put a note.
Okay.
Just to put the link in there. So when you give me that,
I appreciate that. I'll actually send it to you if you like. I should be able to do that on my phone or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would encourage everyone to go and look at that because it's very it's giving me the feel anyway of what you're speaking on, and a little extra for me in that I was certain that those words were I am, and it's not. It's fire, and that's why I went to go look at it. I wouldn't have bothered had I known the words, because I would like, okay, why am I hearing fire in my but it's it's one of those classic tunes that you sing wrong forever and forever. I've sang it like that when it comes on the radio too, because that's what I thought the words were, but it's not. So I find that very interesting.
But the words you're singing are very interesting.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure if it matters what language you're singing them in, because fire and I am do not sound at all alike. Just language, anyways.
I've always heard that as I am. I don't know if that's a common thing.
I mean, one is one word, 2 syllables. The other one is 2 words. Both have 1 syllable.
The way it's sung, it sounds to me like it's I am. Well, at any rate. So I don't know what to say. Yes, it is odd, but there we have it. And why? I mean, I don't why it came in, and it was persistent until I went and looked, and I remarked on the multidimensionality of what I was seeing. But I've been seeing that in a lot of things ever since that Outlander stuff. So
yeah,
but it's interesting to me because that visual, it feels like exactly what you're describing here, for me anyway. Sorry, while you were doing something, I wanted to interject that because I thought that feels significant to me, for me, through you. So thank you, by the way.
Well, what I was writing down was just a reminder for myself that what I was describing could be another way to describe the title, what the thread, actually was a tapestry being woven of. It's not the energies, it's you. So, because someone just said, okay, well, explain that. A common refrain is, oh, wow, the energies are off the charts. Or, oh, wow, the full moon energy is coming in. Or, oh, yeah, we've got this big portal coming through. Or, or I might send someone a text and say, strap in, kind of thing. So, and it's interesting because when I do those kinds of things, I do it as a shorthand for it, because it's like, because people use the refrain of, the energies. So it's a way to think about it, or they think that the energies are making them do X, Y, and Z. And so what the whole really shooting the fantastic shower was about was that it's not the energies. The energies are what they are, and more and more they're getting more expansive and more heightened and more rarefied and more colorful, right, and more effervescent. So all of those are kind of linear, tangible words to describe them, yet they're also quantum ways that take in all of your sensory array to describe them. Does that make sense? And so it's not the energy. So the energies coming in and shifting and changing are not the behest, they're not what's making you feel floaty or dizzy or sparkly or like you got run over by a truckie kind of a thing. It's you that's doing that. So someone just said, okay, explain that. So so each being is going, a simple way to say it, each being is going through a holding. So all of them is imploding into them, and that creates a holding and a rebirth. So you have the Trinity, and all of the holding also. So it would be helpful to hold it in different layers to it. The holding is releasing, wearing away, polishing off, jackhammering off, loving off, the distortions, right? So the layers of distortion, the layers of disconnect, right? And as each being who is unique and has a whole unique way that they float and how they see in their sensory array, even as it gets more and more uncovered, right, and uncluttered and undistorted and all of that, when they, hey, they learn with the flip, they flipping them on, and okay, so you can use it just a kind of paint a picture of that. Anyways, as that comes onto their uniqueness, and they begin, even if it's just the very tiniest whiff of a glimpse of an acknowledgement, of that for them, the energies, as they come in, are polishing off, cleaning off, right, holding and doing those things I talked about before, those distortions. And so that's going to present in a unique way for each being, because each being's distortions are different. So it isn't the energies that are making you feel, like I said, like you got to go to sleep or this. It's you and your uniqueness and how it's flowing with the energies.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing anything to you. They are completely supporting you and facilitating all that you wish to be and all that you wish to bring forward, to give voice to experience, to have create at the behest of you. So it's like this well, that's interesting. It's so interesting just to answer these two parts of the same question, because it's pulling pulling me back into vignettes of the shower, which I said, like I said, is tripping the light. Fantastic. So we'll go into one, I guess, now, because what came up, I was going to say, it's like being on this amazing velvet, not quite a magic carpet, and not quite a velvet cloud. It's something akin to all those, and it's alive. It's a being. It's consciousness, because I wrote on one, very first time that of this sort, this velvety. I'll just use it as a name. It's a velvet carpet, velvet magic carpet. And when I met it, when I petted it, when I went and asked to engage with it, come into communion was the word then, and the word now, as I feel into it. And it's funny because I didn't have the sense of sitting on it or standing on it. I had the sense of riding on it, but being on it and maybe being part of it at the same time, if that makes sense. So it wasn't shaped like a magic carpet and just flat, but I wasn't on just sitting on the carpet. But I don't know how to describe it. So there was a connection beyond just contact. Like, if you've got a carpet, let's say this is a carpet and you sit on it, you're going to be in contact with it, right? So it was beyond that, and it makes me think of another part where in the ship I was part of. It was a small little craft, and I was part of the chair, part of the controls. I'm putting my hands forward because it's the computer, but part of the, I guess it was kind of a panel array. So it was similar kind of thing. Anyway, so back on the velvet carpet, and it was very much alive, and I'm not certain personality is an appropriate word. I don't know, because there seems to be like a lot of maybe negative type connotations to that. But anyways, one of the things of being connected to it was that my sensory array and its sensory array, there was a merging, there was a melding. Very distinctly, I could still, because I'm used to mine. I'm used to how I feel and sense and see things on not just linear levels, but all sorts of levels. And I know what it's like to lose that, and that's a whole other linear 3D story. Someone made me lose that, of the powers that were a sort. But anyways, it wasn't that. It was, so in the melding, let's say if this was my picture of my sensory array, right? I could think, oh, okay, am I losing anything? Is something away? No, it's all right here. I could, do all of that, right? So it still works. That's a sensory array. Yet I could tweak. I could have the sense I could tweak a little bit and have more different, which was this carpets. Does that make sense? Sensory array. And so that was one, but there are a lot of these different tripping the light fantastic kind of things, were coming. And all of them were not soft, fluffy velvet carpets, but, they were bearing different things. But all of them were allegories, experiences, energetic envelopes, portals for describing that it's not the energies, it's you. And absolutely the part in the parentheses, and that's a fabulous thing, because as I met and connected with the different things and what I was experiencing, what I was feeling, it was a total immersion in every facet sensory array. So everybody will feel into that differently for themselves, and maybe if they never have, start to like, I have a sensory array, and play with that. But it was like the if you were thinking just of the sound from more just the linear ear sound, it was the best sound quality device, just to use very linear placeholder words, right? And the visuals were and I'm pausing to describe, because the way I read it, it wasn't just my linear eye visuals and colors and stuff, and it wasn't then pulling into the rest of the sensory array so I can see something and then be able to see something. Does that make sense, with other senses coming into that? So at the very simplistic way I describe it is that each aspect of this were, if you wanted to go and buy the very best sound quality device for hearing something, you'd have that, and you'd have this, and visuals, and all those kinds of things. And okay, well, that makes sense. I was just, or you could just describe it the way that it changed. So it changed it. It's one of those things where, we've talked about where it just is. Mm-hmm. So you might be doing something or perceiving something, or you kind of do something in a certain way, and then you get an upgrade. You get a change. And It just is. It's not like you go, well, oh, wow, look at this new super shirt I'm wearing, or, or hey, my hair, does these funny things. It just, you're you. You've become more fully you, for lack of a better way to say it. And so now it just is. You don't think, well, I was this and now I'm that.
Right.
And if someone may notice something and they'll say, well, wow, something's different, you'd have to really kind of think to back up. So it's maybe another way to say that, Sheila, you've been talking a lot about this lately. It was how we've, what an amazing thing that we could be all and dive down deep, 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 deep into, kind of a stuff. So similar in that. So you at one point were a little bit, and now you realize that you're not. And so, as you said in the video we did just the other day, I think, you can't not know it. You can't not. And so the way I would describe it is that it just is. And in not knowing, to think you have to get back on the other side of it, you got to kind of, if it's possible, it's really hard work, parse it out. And how do you not know it, or how do you not have whatever this is? Is it making any sense?
No, it's making perfect sense. But apparently, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so I let me share this with you. I feel like all is energy, period. Energy. Yes. That's all anything is. Everything is. That's the all, right?
Yeah.
And when you spoke of the merging with the different, because actually they're aspects of you. So no matter how separate we want to hold anything, including each other, myself and my computer that I keep having troubles with, no matter how much we want to hold that separate. And again, that I see that now too. You just helped me see that now too. That's still programming.
Mm-hmm.
From going from the huge, all that is, down into this one teeny tiny. I went and got myself a straw so I could do that. Pinpoint, kind of, because I can see y'all, but you can't see me. Well, no, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening. We can't see you. I love you, Boo Boo.
Oh my gosh!
It's a placeholder metaphor, right?
Yeah, I understood what you were saying.
Thank you. At any rate, yes, no matter how we want to hold it as being separate, we are not. And so get over yourselves. You're me too. Oh, I hate to break it to any of you guys out there.
Oh, no.
I could see what you were saying about the merging and the melding, right?
Right.
So.
And that's why I was saying, I made reference to the other time. I know what it's like to have it all gone, to have my sensory array all gone, shot out from underneath me, it's gone. And so
now I have to tell you, when you said that, I heard a whole bunch of people say, "Oh, I want to hear about that."
So it wasn't that. It was, and because I have had that, I freaked for a moment and thought, well, maybe this isn't the best, velvet carpet to be on. And so I did. I kind of attested to see, and that's another yes. That's another example of it's not the energies, it's you. And that's a really fabulous thing. So I'll explain just that right there. So the shift in energy is a minute quantum shower. I'm shooting the light, fantastic. I'm on a velvet magic carpet. Okay, need I say more? And and I'm having this experience. So the energies, wow, are flowing in, and right, you could use that phrase.
Right.
Except it's not the energies, it's me. Okay. So it's me. So then I check, am I me? You know, in these energies, how much is me? Am I changing me in the instant? So all of a sudden I'm just more me, you know, whatever. And so it takes so in this particular thing, it was a really cool yet scary for a moment thing, because there were distinct changes. And since I have had it where it was incredibly traumatic and dramatic, and a whole other things came with it, where I was stripped of that. You know, I thought, well, okay, well, wait a minute, this is a new cool thing. I'm not liking it for a minute, because I was worried, because one of those things, remember I started by saying the energies come in, whatever's in you, whatever needs to be polished off and all that kind of stuff, right? So here I'm having this moment, which seemed like, you know, quite a long time moment, where I'm getting, you know, I'm not so light, fantastic-y and cool. I'm thinking, okay, and I'm like checking, you know, I said it in a short way before, but to dive into that part, I am checking the sensory. I mean, am I still here? Does it still work? Do I have control of it? You know, and so I'm being asked to really point this out because this is it was a real, tangible, very expansive experience for me. But in sharing it, you know, you maybe get some value in that, but go beyond as a metaphor for each being of that it's not the energies, it's you. So a lot of times people, a very much more common refrain with the, you know, with the energies and stuff is people, I got a headache, you know, this hurts, that hurts, I'm exhausted, I can't sleep now, or whatever. There always seems to be more of you know, there's a drag to it, a bad connotation, or annoying, or it doesn't fit.
Yeah, no, you're right. I know what you're saying about that. Yes.
And as a side note to this whole experience, and having this being brought forward very clearly for me, is that that's kind of too bad. That's a propensity and a perceived, you know, we perceiving it as that, because we tend to miss stuff. So, and I gave, you know, because this one was the very first light, fantastic thing I was going through in the shower, and I gave myself an example right there. Quit doing that. Don't do that anymore. Me, don't do that anymore. And that was when like I said, I freaked for a moment. Okay, this is fun, but hey, hang on, and maybe this isn't fun if this is happening again, and you know, something that I had, which was a very bad thing before. And not only did I hear, but I don't know how to describe it. So you might hear, if you're listening to music, or you're listening to a video, or you're listening to yourself talking to you, you know, all of you talking to you, you might hear, you know, it's not the energies, it's you. So there was, not sure how to describe it. There was this quantum shower, there was the experience, there was this shooting light fantastica, there was this lesson, there was this, you know, so I'm on part of enmeshed with, you know, we just already described that, with the velvet carpet.
Right.
And, you know, there's the cool part, there's the fantastical part, now there's the, oh, hang on. Was this a really bad mistake?
What is happening part?
and then I'm pulling back and reliving some of, an unarguably tremendous other thing, and all the while, as I'm going through all these various gyrations very, very, very quickly in very, very, very expansive ways, I keep hearing, and this is where I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but it is important. So keep going is what I'm getting, I can feeling. So I could hear the phrase, it's not the energies. I was the phrase, it's not the energies, if that makes sense. I don't know how to, it was enveloping in me. So there was a confidence, frequency, energy. There was a gentle kiss, reassuring. There was, steadfastness to that. There was proofing. That's parsing them out, and all of those are kind of correct descriptors, but that which was being the phrase is actually even though it seems like an odd way to say it, is a much more accurate way to say that. So if that means anything to anybody else, anyways, just for me. So in the experience, in the energetic envelope, in the lesson, right, in the unwinding and unbinding, in the remembering, kind of those kinds of things.
Right.
Well, if I didn't see so before, I would see at that moment that this is why I knew what it was called and what it was about beforehand, even though I had no clue what the hell that meant, But it's not the energies, it's you. So nothing's done to you, nothing's coming in. So if you're, just giving in this particular thing with me, if you're ascribing that the energies or that thing or this velvet carpet or this experience is taking something from or stripping or rearranging or like messing with my sensory array kind of a thing, right? It's not the energies, it's you. And this, I think, the last part in the parentheses is where I know that's why I want to conjure that it's not that I was the phrase, and it's a fabulous, and that's a fabulous thing, because it has that feeling again of excitement, anticipation, and joy, and wow, and the things in every part of my body that are just, and it's interesting because even parts that have not been working properly since an accident, like this part of my finger and some other thing, that are lighting up almost like, not accurate, like a re-knitting of a bone. It's not had this nothing to do with the bone in my hand, but re-knitting of a bone or weaving of a fiber in a tendon or something like that. So anyway, so it's a little bit a tangent within on topic thing, but that's the thread, the tapestry, the messages, because someone said, well, why not? How can I use that? Because the perceived energies are going off the charts, and if you haven't noticed it, just wait, because where you think is the next plateau is, the new plateau hits every moment, and depending on how you yourself have been participating and engaged with and actively moving you will then, because you're bringing it for you will then experience in different levels, different ways. It's not the energies, it's you. And
well, it's not lost on me that there's been some stories circulating about the blast of energy that has come through the galactic core. Okay.
when was
And say what?
when was that, a new blast or just blast?
No, it's I don't know. It's been maybe a week, or don't ask me. Time is irrelevant in these moments for me. So could be 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know, but it was in regards to a blast of energy from the core of our galaxy. And there's been a lot of talk about, again, the Earth's magnetic fields and all of that. And what I'm trying to say here is, and this actually goes very well with what you're speaking on. Okay, so it's all metaphor, because you're right. It is not the energies, it's you. It's this right here. That's why I shut my camera off again. And that's why it's individual for each of us. This is my feeling. This is the whole time you were speaking on that, I saw that those are the layers of communication of me with me and everybody else too, if you can see the metaphor in it. Because the planet has that same shape of the energetics that surround it as well. Mm-hmm. And so do we. And it is us doing it, and that's why some notice it and some don't. And for me, it's like I just noticed them, and I guess at this point it's almost as though it's become a thing to talk about the energies. And I get what you're talking about in regards to looking at it as a bad thing. I have noticed the little, aches and pains or whatever that come up, but I don't see them as the energies doing them to me any longer. I feel as though that the energy that is streaming in, that I am clearly calling in, it is, like you said, I feel that if we're all one and it's all the same thing and we're all doing this at our own pace and what we chose. When I get those little aches and pains or whatever, I have felt into them to see if it's an issue I need to be concerned about, or if it's just something that is like, you talked about that reknitting thing. Yeah. All of that I'm pulling into me is changing the molecular structure of how this physical vessel presents. And I know I'm doing that. Yes. With that energy that's coming into. So the energies are, I feel like this is a way for all of us to even notice in our own speech. The energies are coming in.
Yeah.
They're coming in from the galaxy. They're coming into the planet. They're coming into you. But it is also you.
Yes.
It is also me.
You're calling them in.
Right. And if folks aren't noticing them or whatever, and people don't have to be awake to be calling them in either.
No,
it's all however they chose. We all each individually chose to experience, things. There are similarities between folks of experiencing this, but also in all of those groups, if you notice, it's all across the board what folks are experiencing. And so it's specific to, and 9 times out of 10, it's specific to your own physical vessel and what is rearranging or, right. Because, for heaven's sakes, this is an entire universe all on its own.
Yes.
So I see the metaphor in what you're saying there, and I also see the propensity that I've had to, again, it's that, and I just am marveling at the fact that it to see it in this way as to why we look outside of ourselves. It's because that was the name of the game of fitting in here and setting it up for the, I don't know, this seems almost like okay, any Dungeon and Dragon players out there? It sort of seems like, we set things up for ourselves to experience,
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned dragons because I had 2 forays with dragons in this particular shower. And
Oh, that's interesting too, especially since that song that I had to go look up was Fire, and dragons are fire elemental energy. So that's very interesting.
well, yes, and they're different. This is not accurate because I don't know the nomenclature per se of dragons, but there are different lines, different lineages, different if it was a horse breeds, some their propensity, their proclivity, their talents, their specialties are around fire and protection and battling and all that. Some are more on creative, more on inspired, more on on changing. Um, what I thought was cool was I was on. They were very, very different, and I don't know. I was gonna say not polar opposites, but maybe mirror opposites. Is that kind of right? So one was a warrior dragon, fire dragon, and the other was um, uh, well, breath dragon is the way that it came when I was with it and playing and riding, and the breath was, again, it was with both of them very much, just short of having long hair and a tail that wove into to some of the mane and scales on the dragon, but there was the blending with them. But to go focus for a minute on the breath one, the breath, that's like a little shorthand that I came up with. So I don't. It's probably more to it, but it was the breath of creation. So in the what we were doing and how we were playing, I mean, the most delicious, giddy, effervescent playing that we were doing, and talk about, didn't we do in that series, we just the what was it, something that the no separation between thought and deed. So in this, I mean, tumbling in this kind of aerial acrobatics and laughing, or dragging, I guess, still human asses off, and changing color, and and it would be do that, or let's play that, or oh, look at that, or and the breath part was almost like as we were thinking and playing and just and the effervescent bubbles going, we would and it was whatever it was there, was a tree, or let's glide the water, or land here in the meadow, or I mean it was seamless. It just, anyways, that's probably a whole thing on its own. But for a minute, there's something about this mirror of the two. Oh, okay, I know. So again, it was one of those for me in the lesson, the learning, the imparting of, the knowledge, the grokking, I don't have the right words for it, but of, it's not the energies, it's you, and that's a fabulous thing. That so on just one level of this with the mirror opposite, I don't think that's right, but of the dragon rides, is that the good, it's not good and bad, it's not hard and soft, it's not force or I'm just trying to think of words that would come in if you were to describe aggression or if you're battling something, right? Mm-hmm. or soft fluffy bunnies, or creating, or any of those. It isn't. Huh. Well, as we went down into the little bitty BDS, right? We had these things because it was labeling and pitching and holding, and part of that was, when we went all the way down to this part, so good at it, the whole system, the whole false contract got set up around that, so kept us diving smaller. But now, as we're coming out of it, as and everybody is unique in how they would give voice to it, and how they experience things, and how they're having its expansion in the energies. Each being is describing and parsing out and trying to figure out, well, what the hell was that, kind of a thing, right? And I guess one of the things that in the two dragon ones is just part of it, but in the whole and other pieces, in the whole experience of the quantum shower, it was that I wanted to bring away, to offer, to give, when I shared, was that it's really empowering, it's really helpful, it's really an incredibly powerful tool to, well, I could be real linear, to thwart yourself from doing the negative positive thing, to to be careful of, to be mindful of, to pay attention to. If you have that propensity already, the energy's sucking because this, and we're all going to, but in the meantime, to whatever you would characterize that, what I'm talking about, it really, it's behooving for all to reframe that, to hold that in a different way, to release the attachment to that those strings, they're like, you know, they're like incredibly strong zip ties that are binding you in a way, again, you rebinding, whether you're intentionally doing them or not, to some of these things. And so the tool is that by choosing not to allow that to happen, by choosing not to have that propensity, by choosing to reframe it, you got these quantum scissors that will easily snap the zip ties. Because internal to you, internal to your personal world sphere, whatever that looks, it's going to look like all different ways for different people, different parts of the family or whoever it is, internal to and personal to you in your, how you activities in your world, your community or your job or whatever it is. But then also you've got the more it's all that is external, and then a little bit more further removed. So in the in what's unfolding on the world stage, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
If you release the propensity for doing that, good guys win, bad guys this, bad guys this, bad guy, because there is such magic and complexity and richness in all of it, and the ascribing it as, it's the energies that are making me feel like shit, or it's, this, whatever, or Lisa had said the other day, my side is winning or we're not winning, or that. And I get you where you're describing, and you were describing, move me on that. I'm just kind of pulling threads that are common type of discussions. And so it's not the energies, it's you. Again, so here's one of those, same with the dragons, it's that mirror opposite thing. So on the one hand, if you don't allow that proclivity to fade, and you don't allow to hold it in a different way, it's not the energies, it's you. And so as you swim in and play with and connect with and interact with and fuse and be infused by the energies, it's you, and that proclivity will be rubbed off, will be polished off, will be jackknifed off. So it moves one to let that go. And the mirror, opposite, I don't know how to hold that. I'm not sure where that comes, but anyways, there it is. Of that is when you allow that to release, that you go, okay, it is, and I could describe it as really awful or maybe pretty good, but I'm reserving judgment, and just, when it's like this, and I just witnessed it in so many different ways and places, but it's this, all of you just goes like this, and the colors and the rush and the by playing and being and choosing that other part, the tool part, it unpacks things, it has things make more sense, it can take, I'll just use an example, something seemingly difficult or chaotic or frightening or impeding, impinging, infringing on you, take on a whole new light because of the choice of allowing, because of that flow, because of that, there is no resistance. And so when it unfurls, it can unfurl to the truth of what it is, which is expansion, which shoots you out to a broader perspective, which shoots you out to a broader understanding, which shoots you out to being able to see instead of just a tiny sliver of that, but to walk around, dance around, fly around 360 and go, oh yeah, look at that. Which completely changes the whole complexion of all of it. And you, and anyways, that was just one part of
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I'll say. I'm really glad I got that song snippet this morning too, because it feels like it was very helpful for me in the conversation.
kind of like a decoder ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it
my
feels
own
like.
little decoder ring. Well, yeah. Well, I really feel like we are. There was someone that kept asking about the sensory array, and this is what for me is like part of my sensory array. The puzzle piece, my proclivity for puzzle pieces, in that I feel, okay, there's a reason that this song is Mealworm right now. So I don't know what it is. Okay, that's interesting. And it's not me because I'm not touching anything. Anyway, I'm hearing something weird on my end. Did you guys hear that?
Kind of a crunchy slam of something.
Yeah. Okay, that was weird. Anyway, yeah, I feel like that's part of my sensory array, and everyone's sensory array will be specific to them, but it will be much more than just the hearing, seeing, feeling. It can also be conversations with self. Maybe not everybody has a chatty Cathy in their head. I do. Right along with a comedian and a few other various and sundry, most of the time smart asses, but okay. And Smarmy's still alive and well. Yes. And but all of those things, and the hair on my arms, and paying attention to different body parts and how the wind blows and what crosses my vision at that time. All of these things for me make up that sensory array.
Mm-hmm. They do.
And so when something presents like an earworm, that's a communication from me to me. And I can choose to ignore it, but most of the time for me, the earworm won't go away until I go look at the lyrics. And okay, if that doesn't do anything for me and I don't get it, then I got to go find the official video and see what that's about. This particular time, it just happened to launch on its own because of the site that I went to see the lyrics on. And as I read the lyrics, I was like, okay, it's not I am, so I don't get it. What am I here? I don't get this. But there's a deeper message in it for me, I'm certain, but it was also very helpful to see the video because of the multidimensionality of what you're speaking on, what you were speaking on in regards to that. But I wanted to answer that because it was very overwhelming. Someone asking about, what do you mean sensory array? And everyone's will be different too, and it will change. It's that noticing that we first started talking about when we all first started recording together, when you were, talking about noticing things and just allowing them, because it's all we're communicating with ourselves on every level, on all kinds of levels. So that's what the sensory array thing was about. I had to get that out there because that was
Yeah, and well, and maybe I just get nudged. We might do a show just on sensory array as a tool and how to, how to
hone it because yeah, it changes. So we can hone it.
you can hone it, and
Yes, we can.
I may describe mine, and you may describe yours, and it may be that there's, well, say in this particular iteration of description, that there's 20 things, and we have seemingly exactly identical 20 things. I'm just using this as an example, and that could be, but if I laid mine down and you picked them up, you'd go, well, mine doesn't work this way, kind of a thing. So, and maybe that's part, a helpful tool for the proclivity of, well, comparing to, what's on your sensory array, and well, hey, I got this one too, and it's a part of self-discovery that, well, if someone picks up mine and goes, well, hey, look at that, does this, that, the other thing, or well, mine doesn't, that, because we're always, many are and have the proclivity to, and it's definitely because of the false construct and the way it was all fashioned intentionally, to think, well, someone's got something better than I do, and however we're holding it. But the sensory array, I just wanted to say something for that in a minute, is it's really magical and fantastical when you not only notice it and play with it and communicate and connect with it and fine tune it, and it will give birth to, it will breathe into a creative life force as you do that, because it begets more. So you're doing it, you're begetting more, but it'll bring other facets and totally, completely, seemingly different and new, that don't seem to relate to anything else online, and it makes never mind the whole ride more enjoyable, more fantastical, more sublimely delicious, but it makes it a whole hell of a lot easier, and it really kind of lights your path and lays things out, and is a great tool in your toolbox that you can then decode something, or assuage a fear, or this or that, or the other thing, and there's I'm not sure how to describe this right. I was going to say they're they're alive and living and beings in their own right, and there's like this whole cadre of your crew, your mates, your from the like the Irish sense, and your best buds, kind of where you can be together and then not see each other for 20 years, and it's your best mates. You've got your own code, that kind of stuff, and there is such a people are going to think this sounds funny, but there's such a camaraderie, and such a love, and such a connection, such a stream, and comfort, and familiarity, and just deep, deep, deep appreciation and flow. And if you ever should lose them, it's devastating. Or if something that comes to you, or happens, or maybe there's something that you got particularly frustrated with something, and something was taking too long, or you went to a pocket of playing small, and you can shut them down a little. I've found that doesn't last from us doing it very long. It's the only thing I found that does that is something else. But anyways, they're just quite astonishingly dear. Just really beautiful. And it changes when you walk with them, flow with them, move with them. You don't have to think, well, did I pack my sensory array, or did I turn it on? Is it plugged in? It's working. It's just there. And
I'm sorry. Hold up. I have to say, I'm sorry. I heard mine say to me once, is this thing on?
right.
So sometimes your sensory array might tap you on that.
Right. But that's very different than you thinking, you have to pack it. So.
Yeah.
And, when you're taking a quantum shower and you're going this whole thing, it's, and you know what? They tend to kind of add a few when you do those things. Because I've noticed I haven't fully worked it all out, but there's some slightly different, maybe enhancements to some one or two that seem kind of new, completely new. And I haven't, like I said, played all with it, so I don't, it's my thought that they are, but I don't have that same level of camaraderie and connection and friendship yet. So.
Well, I'd like to say at this point in regards to all that, because, I've been a big one for comparing myself to others, that I've just recently realized for myself what that is. For me, your mileage may vary. The comparing thing is also a holdover to the conforming thing.
Yeah.
Because for me, it just kind of dawned on me, as I've been deprogramming myself from different things. Well, all you got to do is look at school. When you're being taught how to conform in school, there are tests along the way, and you are comparing yourself to everybody else. And so that's for me. I mean, I haven't stopped doing it quite yet, because it's, but it's not that. We've talked about that before, where you can see a program and it was a rut, and it becomes less of a rut, and now it's a ditch at the moment. I can see what it is, but it just kind of hit me the other day in regards to the comparing, that is, it's kind of the result of the programming of conformity. And that's the other thing that, even in a lot of groups where, you should do it this way, that's still it's just, it looks a little different, but it's still conformity. If somebody tells me I got to do something this particular kind of way in order to do a certain thing, like, I don't know, ascend, whatever it is that we're doing, that we think we're doing here. That's why I feel like the DIY thing is a real thing, and why that's the kind of thing I'm ascribing to. It's just more conformity, and to expect any one of us to think alike about something.
Right.
And that comparing, I wanted to throw that in there, because I don't do it quite as much as I used to, but it's like a little habit, and it's a holdover. I'm sorry, say that again.
Well, kind of uncharacteristically, perhaps for me, I'm nudged to say that in these moments, with how we're meeting all the expanded energies, it's the comparing is an indulgence that costs us when we do that.
An indulgence.
Well, oftentimes, another common thing with the comparing is, well, seems to throw a lot of beings will let it kind of be lockstep in, well, I don't have that, so I can't, you don't understand. I can't do X, Y, and Z because I don't have that. And that's an indulgence because it's bullshit.
Mm.
You know?
Not sure. I'd have to think on
Because
this
I
one a
could
little
turn
bit.
it around and I could talk to you for a few minutes and be and connect, the you of the royal you, right? So it's not any particular you in person, but and have a connection, and by listening, feeling you, connecting with you, I can say, well, you do this, and you have a specialty in this, and you have a proclivity for this, and you have a passion in this, and I can see you're doing you've got this sensory rare or whatever, how we were describing things, whatever I'm looking at, I can't do that. So it's just a point, it a lot, it's almost like for whatever reason, but if you keep doing it now, because now the energies, we'll talk very base, very limited, to go back to Lisa's size, the energies are such now that the other side does not have the upper hand. In fact, the other side is not even controlling the timelines because they're not controlling the energies and the expansive veins and oceans and flow they're up. So that's why I'm saying of that it's an indulgence to do that, because a lot of what that's predicated upon has been transformed. It's right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I guess I didn't, and I still don't feel as though, well, because it's a noticing for me of having noticed what it was attached to and the fact that it's a habit. And it's also a holdover from getting to be so tiny that I forgot who I was. And so we didn't get in this shape overnight. And I feel like, again, it's each one of these individual perspectives of the all approaches things at different ways, different vantage points. It's the whole purpose of the whole thing. And so I'm sorry, I love that part of it, because as soon as we understand, as soon as I understood it, that's the whole friggin' point. So my view is never ever going to be the same as yours. And we all have to get over that, because so for me, I see a noticing of the comparing, because I shouldn't be comparing myself to you, because I am you. I'm just a different angle of you. And as that angle, I got a whole plan of doing things in a particular kind of way. It's just the deprogramming of what I thought I was supposed to be doing before. And when I thought I was eensy beensy and only that eensy beensy circle perspective, so I'm viewing it for me, and I know that just my own singular view of it and feel of it. I could see where you would feel like it's an indulgence once you know.
Yes, that's what I'm
And
saying.
once you, but part of the, for me, part of the was waking up to the fact that, oh yeah, hey, wait a minute, am I comparing myself to you or to Lisa? First of all, it doesn't even make sense because we're all the same. It's just that I, in this little tiny perspective that is growing all the time, it's also my specific angle on the all.
Yeah, and I could give you yours, you could give me mine. Like I could take your green straw there as a thing, and I could say, well, it doesn't do what you said. It's broken. It doesn't work. Well, yeah, because I have to change it. I've got to, in order to make it work, it needs to be an extension of me.
Right. It's, well, which it is, but it's also the angle. You see, because we are one, so it is you. It's already you. But,
yes, but the extension of me is the angle that I'm referring at. That it
right, exactly. That's what I mean. That's what, yeah, exactly.
Customized for me, and I customize it for me.
And then it's no longer, and still you can't compare it because it might be the green straw, but it's going to be just a little different because of the angle thing. Right. So no matter what anybody thinks, they're moving forward, there will not be conformity.
And the indulgence comes from when someone has, they're playing with things, they're noticing things, they're engaging with things, they're starting to get it, and now intentionally they're falling back on, well, I don't have that, or you don't understand, or I'm small, or this and that. When they're doing things, it's not like they haven't experienced yet. They haven't started to see that they're putting the pillow over their head. They're shutting out that, all that kind of stuff. And at the same time saying, and then telling you, the woe is me story, or this, that, and the other thing, but it's a choice. All of that is a choice. So here's to play, the other side of what I just said. So if you're choosing to do that, and you absolutely know, and that's your choice, that's totally different, because that's an empowered choice. That's a choice of expansion. That's, to some may be thinking, what are you talking about? They're going supposedly in the other direction. Yeah, but they're owning it, and they're doing it consciously. And so that changes the nature, the character, the power, the energy of it completely. And not an indulgence. It's an empowered choice in that direction to do their thing.
Right.
It's that wanting to play both, things at the that's the indulgence part. And the reason I call it that is because with everything moving and expanding, because we are moving and expanding so fast, and it's all at the behest of us, if one is saying that, well, are we there yet? I wish we'd get there. Or when is, just some of the refrains, when is nothing's happening? When's the disclosure? Well, hey, you're indulging there, eating the bonbons of, small, or this, that, and the other thing, and playing yourself against yourself is what you're doing.
Well, anymore, what I've caught myself doing more than comparing is a noticing. Now, I personally don't engage in that. Oh, I can't do that because I don't have this or whatever. Because I know that whatever it is that I am choosing to engage in, with, have, do, be, I might not be zero to hero in, right away, but I know it's coming, and I'm working in that direction. And so I don't go around I don't have quantum showers like VZ at all, but I have other things, and I know that some of that's coming because mine don't happen in the same way as yours, but
Right.
they do things like that, very similar happen. And so, but and the same way, like with Lisa, I don't have the, the communication in the way that Lisa has it with herself. But I also know that that's coming too. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like whatever it is that I want to have, be, do, whatever, I'm capable of. So,
Well, and I just want to mark right here because, you gave a couple examples here and you said, well, I don't have that, but I know that's coming. And I'm smiling because there have been a number of things where you kept saying you didn't have that. And Lisa and I going, okay, well, at this
okay, so maybe, yeah.
this time we got it on camera, man. And so, okay, but just and that, yes to that, and a lot of those things. So again, it's that noticing you already got them, and it's not being attached to. It looks like this because, oh, look at that. When I stop, I can feel that.
Yeah, you're right about that because there's a lot of attachments up in her right now, I gotta say. So, I know that you're right about that. There are things, and I guess why I know I can say they're coming, because maybe then I'll actually see them, feel them, know that they are there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know that so.
And you don't corner the market on doing that,
No, I really, yeah. Yeah, I know.
This was a good one.
Yes, it was very good. And I'm so out of my element, even so. Not having, I having a little attachment. I keep wanting to grab this mouse over here that don't go to anything because, so there's that. Well, did either one of you have anything that you wanted to add to this one?
No, I thought it was perfect.
Alrighty then. Well, I guess, and I feel a little discombobulated, so, I apologize. We will have all the usual things in all the usual places where how you can get in touch with each one of us. And there'll be a place, well, do you put that in your, yes, because right now I know this one will not be, okay. There is a button to hit subscribe on BZ Reader's channel, The Quantum Playground. And eventually, someday, this might actually appear on Conscious Conversation Central's YouTube channel. And when it does, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when we upload, just make sure to hit that bell icon. So, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, BZ, for recording.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Have a good night.
Until next time.
Much love.